Hey guys, welcome back to this decklist here. As I promised you before in the combo guide video, I will show you a decklist that you can use tomorrow on the ladder to play the new Raidraptor deck. It's obviously not new because a lot of the cards are already in the game, but you know what I am talking about. And if you have not seen the combo video, it is in the top right corner of this video. Go check that out. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell, as this would help me out a lot. So this new deck here, Raidraptor, or this new variant basically, with the new boss monster, the towers, Raidraptor, Ultimate Falcon, and also, oh no, this is the new one, the Rising Rebellion Falcon, also the old boss monster, the old Towers monster, Ultimate Falcon. This is what the deck wants to achieve, going for these two big boss monsters here, and this is a potential list that definitely has its focus on being very consistent. As you can see, we have a lot of engine in this deck, and I think you don't need to play this many engine cards here, but this makes it more consistent in my opinion. And you also play 42 cards just to be on the safer side when it comes to drawing some one-offs that we don't really want to draw, like for example the trap that we can search throughout our combo, the magic skip force that we can search, as well as the rise up, rank up magic Raidraptor's force that we can also search throughout our combo. So this is something we want to avoid here. I also wanted to play two call buys because getting max seed here basically means we have to skip our turn with nothing on the field, so we definitely need stuff against max C. You can also argue putting in crossouts here just to make it less likely to draw these one-offs that you don't want to see, and also to have another out option for MXC here. So the first thing that I want to mention here, as I already did basically, is that we do not have a lot of non-engine, right? We have 3 MXCs, we have 3 Ash Blossoms, then we have 3 Infinite Impermanences, and then 2 Call Buys, which basically means we have 11 non-engine, which is very low, or on the lower side, especially in today's meta, especially against decks like the Fire decks, where you need, in most cases, 2 hand traps to effectively stop them. Having 2 hand traps with that low of a hand trap count here is not that likely. Obviously, I have opted for the most important ones. You could argue putting another Nibiru in here, because if you drop a Maxi on your opponent, then it's obviously also nice to have a Nibiru in your deck that you can potentially draw to have a very hard counter hand trap, because obviously Infinite Impermanence and the Ash Blossom aren't hard counter hand traps, not as a Nibiru or a Drolin Lockbird or, for example, Dimensional Shifter would be. So we are playing a lot of these cards that give us consistency here, and you definitely can argue putting some of them out. We are playing one of the new Mimicry Lanios. We need this to banish this in order to get access to the new spell card, the Raidraptor Roost. This is also why we only need one of this. We can get it to the field, we can get it to the graveyard, so no need for this to be more of them. But once per turn during main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned, you can increase the level of all Raidraptor monsters you can control by 1. During main phase, if this card is sent to the graveyard, we can banish this and add 1 Raidraptor card from the deck to our hand. Another reason why, and this is what I talked about here, adding the Roost. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the combo video up here. We are only playing one of this because this is one of the only cards that cannot be special summoned, and this, I've talked about this in the combo video, is one of the most important plays that you want to do here. You want to get to your Raiders Knight, because this starts it off. The Raiders Knight goes into the new Brave Streak, which then goes into the Arsenal Falcon, and so on and so forth, which means you want to go get into this thing here that needs 2 level 4 bodies. And a lot of these guys here are in the deck because they can actually special summon themselves. They are extenders, right? We have this Bloom Vulture here, which is a very nice new card, which basically says that if you do not control any monsters other than Winged Beast monsters, we can special summon the Bloom Vulture and then another Raidraptor monster from our hand. So this already equals 2 level 4 bodies. Very, very convenient here. We have cards like the Pain Lanius, only once though, because it's not that great. But this also, if this card is in your hand, you can target 1 Raidraptor monster you control that has a level, take damage equal to its attack or defense, and if you do special summon this card. And if you do that, this card's level becomes the current level of the targeted monster. So normally you would target another level 4, so then you also have another level 4, because this will be another level 4. But it's not that great. The other ones are definitely better, which is why we only have this once. And then cards like Heat Eagle, which can also be special summoned but has only level 3, is also a card that we do not want to see that often, because we need our level 4 bodies in order to get into our core play, which is the Raiders Knight. If you want to interrupt this deck, go ahead and interrupt the Raiders Knight. This is very effective. We have Raidraptor Vanishing Lanius. Once per turn during your main phase, if this card was normal or special summoned, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster from your hand. Another card that by itself is able, so not really by itself because you need another level 4 in the hand, but as you can see we have a lot of them, so it's very likely that we can achieve this. The only card that doesn't need it is the Tribute Lanius, as you've seen in the combo guide here. You can also bump this up to 3 if you want to, for example putting one of the Vanishing Laniuses out, and you can also argue putting all of the Vanishing Laniuses out out for more hand traps or just to cut down the deck size a bit, but then obviously you would have less monsters that can basically achieve your 2 level 4 body strategy on the field. This is always something you have to keep in mind. Do you want more hand traps or do you want more consistency? But this is a question you always have to ask yourself. So we have this basically in the deck to give us 2 level 4 bodies. We have the Tribute Lanius, which if this sends the Fuzzy Lanius to the graveyard, the Fuzzy Lanius can grab another Fuzzy Lanius and then be special summoned, which is another level 4 body for us. You can definitely argue putting one of the Fuzzy Laniuses out if you wanted to, as well as I already talked about putting these out and putting another Tribute Lanius in. Though the Tribute Lanius, if I remember this correctly, let me quickly check so that I don't put false information in your head. We have Raidraptor, and I think the Fuzzy Lanius is a new card, which probably will be an ultra rare if I would have to guess. It is actually not a new card. It's one of the old ones, the Fuzzy Lanius is. Where is it though? Where is it? It's a super rare. Okay, so you can definitely go ahead and put one more Fuzzy Lanius in, and therefore minusing, one more Tribute Lanius, therefore minusing one Fuzzy Lanius. Might be better here, honestly. Now that I see it, we have these Raider's Wing, which they are not that easily summoned. There are also no Raidraptor monsters, but they are very nice if you can get them to the field and make your, as I've talked about in the combo video about this, Raider's Knight with the Raider's Wing, because then your Raider's Knight cannot be impermed or effect veiler. This is one of the most important clutch points for the deck, if you want to call it that. So if you can protect yourself from this, this is very much worth it, which is why we are basically adding this card to our deck list here, even though it is not really this, I am a Raidraptor monster, I can special summon myself, I can summon another Raidraptor monster. So this is not really an extender. This can be an extender because if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can detach raw material from your Dark XYZ monster and then you can special summon it actually. But the thing is that if you want to start with 2 level 4 bodies, you obviously don't have a Dark XYZ monster where you can detach from, so that doesn't really work, right? But you want to have the Raider's Wing. You can once again also argue putting one of these out. But hard rank, this is not that bad because, as I already said, if you can make your first Raider's Knight with this guy, then it's protected from Imperm and Effect Veiler, which is very effective. We have Strangulanius, really nice. If you control a Dark Monster, we can special summon this card from our hand. And you've seen this in the combo if you control a level, or if you control an XYZ monster with a Dark XYZ monster as material, which is not that hard to do, honestly, in this combo line. We can then reborn another body, which is a very nice, a different way of extending, right? This is not the extender that you want to have at the beginning of the combo, where you want to get into your Raider's Knight, but this is definitely something you want to have later on so you can get another additional body. We have the Noir Lanius, which says during your main phase, if this card was a normal or special summon this turn, you can target one Raidraptor monster you control, add one Raidraptor monster with a different level. With then that monster from the deck to your hand. You've seen this in the combo video where we were able to add the Heel Eagle and then special summon the Heel Eagle. Once again, a card that is basically an extender later on in the combo and not the combo starter extender. This would be more of your Bloom Vulture or your Tribute Lanius or your Vanishing Lanius if you have another one in hand, or for example your Pain Lanius in combination with anything else here. But this is very important for the basically continuance of the combo. We have a Simorgh, Bird of Affection, no Raidraptor monster, but while face up on the field, this card is also Wind attribute, doesn't really matter. You can only use each of the following effects of Simorgh once per turn during a main phase if you normal or special summon a Wing Beast monster. You can reveal this card in your hand, and immediately after this effect resolves a normal summon. Is it this card or is it one Simorgh monster, so it can summon itself? And obviously all of them are basically Wing Beasts, so if you can normal summon any of these guys and you have the Simorgh in the hand, this is basically also a free level 4 extender. Once again, it's always the same. We want to go into our Raider's Knight. This is what we want to do. This is the core strategy of the game, at least at the beginning of the combo. So this is why we have Simorgh in here. As you can see, we have these extenders later on in the combo that we need, but then again we also need these early monsters that can basically get us into our core play, which is why our engine count unfortunately is that high. We have Phantom Knight, a rank up a Magic Force, where you can also, if you want to, include Kali Yuga in here and make a Kali Yuga. This would obviously require a bit of a different line. I can also show you in another video. These are mandatory. We need them for our base combo. You have seen it. Raidraptor Roost, a really strong card that we want to search with our Mimicry Lanius. We don't really want to hard open this because this doesn't really help us in the beginning. This is more of a support card, more of a grind game card, and then you can, but don't have to, play Raidraptor's Nest if you control 2 or more Raidraptor monsters, you can add 1 Raidraptor monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This is also a grindy card. This is definitely one of the cards that you can most likely take out. That is not that important here, but if you want to, you can keep it in here. We definitely want this one here because we can search it, and then we have the imperms and the called buys. So this is the super consistent version here. If you want to cut down on a more hand trap focused version, I would say cut this one here. Then you would maybe cut all of these here. You can definitely cut one of this. I would put another Tribute Lanius in there though then, because otherwise it might be a bit inconsistent. Now we are at 38 cards. Looking at this, is what else could you get rid of? For example, one Lanius could be dropped here, and then you have a space for more hand traps. You could put in a Nibiru in here. You could definitely put in like a cross out in here, and you still have these one-offs that you don't really want to draw, so we can also go over 40 if you want to do that. And then the next best thing here would probably be an Effect Veiler. If you want to argue like this, you could also go and play it like this here if you want to play a hand trap heavier version. Keep in mind though that this will definitely make your combos less consistent, and you will more often brick at the beginning of the combo as well as in the continuance of the combo, because you have to understand that for a lot of these guys to work, you need another one. For example, the Bloom Vulture needs another level 4 on the hand to make the combo work into the Raider's Knight, and with more hand traps and less level 4 bodies, we will be less likely to open these hands, which means you will brick more often, right? This is just because there's only this one card starter here in the Tribute Lanius, and the other ones basically need another monster. But as I already said, you can also play it like this. Let me know in the comments what you think. What are you planning on playing, the more hand trap heavy version or the more engine heavy version? Let me know. Thanks for being here. We will see each other tomorrow in the live stream, where we will probably play Voices Voice, depending on how expensive this deck will be. Obviously, this will also not be a cheap one, so keep this in mind for the meta strength that this deck has. It's definitely very expensive, so I would think twice about whether you want to really get this deck. You could also get Pearly if you have Pearly. This is kind of a Pearly deck in some way, because you have this unaffected Towers boss monster, and then again, not really. I don't know. It's an XYZ deck. It's not that bad, but then again, it's also very linear. I would never ever go and make this deck. I think it's very boring in my opinion, and then again, not very strong, so why would I ever play this? But if you are excited for this, then I wish you a lot of fun tomorrow on the ladder, and we will see each other in the live stream.